So on Showtime, we have a triple header. Stick around and I'm going to break it down for you. Let's groove out to the groovy intro. So the main event is Emanuel Rodriguez taking on Melvin Lopez, IBF world title, bantamweight, vacant, 1 in away left. What I'm expecting to see is Emanuel Rodriguez, who's a very good fighter, very underrated fighter, a guy that in a way made look a lot worse than he is. Beat Melvin Lopez, who's a solid fighter, but he's also kind of had a very protected career. He does have a loss on his record, but this is a huge step up for Melvin Lopez at this time. I mean, I've never really even sat down and watched. I believe he has a split decision over Jobert Alvarez. Jobert's a guy I watched a while back in the gym. I was a fan of Jobert. Things didn't ever break out. I believe Jobert fought Juan Francisco Estrada. Tough fight, but Estrada, I think, had a different gear than him. Melvin Lopez, to me, screams of a very, very talented fighter that he's going to have to have the best night of his life, because I think Emanuel Rodriguez might be one of these sneaky back-end fringe Hall of Fame fighters. If his career works out the way I think it could work out, he might turn into the best guy in the division. I think the problem is people just don't respect what Inoue's doing, and he's probably going to win this fight and have a long reign, and people are going to go, wow, that's the guy Inoue beat. That's even more impressive than we thought. Co-main event, we got Gary Antoine Russell taking on Kent Cruz. You might vaguely remember Kent Cruz. Kent Cruz is the guy that fought the Eastern European Enrique Gohia. I never can say his name right. He fought him to 2 draws. It was that's kind of like his claim to fame. He had 2 draws, but basically a prospect. Now he's taking on Gary Antoine Russell. Antoine Russell is probably one of the people that is circled on many's calendar to break out. The problem with Gary Antoine Russell is he just doesn't fight all that often. Kind of follows in his brother Gary Russell Jr.'s footsteps. Tragedy has been around his family for like the last couple of years lately. Big G passed away. Now Gary Antoine Russell, southpaw, reminds me of Errol Spence, big puncher, thinker in the ring. He's really got to take over on this, because this is Oxon Hill, Maryland. This is very close to where their gym is. If Gary Antoine Russell wants to start to make a name and move towards a title shot, he needs to kind of take over this fight night card and prove that he needs to be the guy moving forward. This needs to be a major separation in class, and he has to call for some of the big names in the division. I feel on this type of platform, he can't just look like just another guy on this card. He has to look like a future superstar, which I believe he will do in this performance. The sneaky best fight on the card is Trayvon Marshall taking on Gabriel Maestre. You might say, who's Gabriel Maestre? Well, he's a part of one of the worst decisions ever in the sport of boxing. They robbed Michael Fox. Michael Fox dropped him, outclassed him, and then they gave the fight to Gabriel Maestre, which is atrocious. It was so bad the WBA pretended for a while to consolidate their belts, and then they just kind of stopped doing that because that was such a misjustice of what they were doing. Trayvon Marshall, we interviewed him this week. He looks like the goods. This should be welcome to the big leagues, Trayvon Marshall. It should be Trayvon Marshall dominating, a very experienced guy. But like I said in that interview, I think Gabriel Maestre left his best days in the amateurs, and I think his fighting style is better suited for the amateurs. I think you're going to see a young kid who's good at working the body, bully and manhandle, experienced pro, and give him his first loss, the loss that Mike Fox should have given him prior. I think Trayvon's going to step on the gas and really make a statement. It's going to be the DMV night where Trayvon Marshall and Gary Antoine Russell kind of make a statement on this card. When looking on the undercard, we got Michael Angeletti. He's taking on an undefeated fighter, Jonathan Lopez Marcano. Michael Angeletti was the number 1 seed at the Olympic trials in 2019 in the flyweight division. He competes now in the bantamweight division. Michael Angeletti is really freaking good. We got Marcus Brown in action against Adrian Taylor. Is this the Adrian Taylor, I might add, that was at the Olympic trials? It can't be, can it? Let's see, when did he turn? No, it's not the same Adrian Taylor. So Marcus Brown sighting. We got a Jose Benavidez Jr. sighting. We got a Jesse Hart sighting. a Daniel Blancas sighting. Will we see any of those sightings? You better believe we won't, because it's a PBC card and they'll just televise 2 of the fights. So if you're a sicko fight nerd like myself, you better hope someone's live streaming on their Instagram, because you're not going to get a professional feed more than likely. That's about it. Sorry we couldn't give you a podcast this week. It was dysfunctional. I ran late. I hope this serves well and all that stuff for you.